Halloween night had finally arrived and the air was electric with anticipation. I was part of a group of friends who had eagerly awaited this night for weeks. There was a famous haunted house in our town, and it was the main event. All my friends were eager to go, and I was determined to impress them. This haunted house had a reputation for being more terrifying than any other, and I couldn't resist the challenge. Dressed in our scariest costumes, we piled into a car and set out for the haunted house. As we pulled into the parking lot, the authenticity of the place was immediately striking. It resembled a grand, decaying mansion that had been abandoned for years. Fake blood was splattered all over the walls. Bloody handprints adorned the cracked and chipped glass windows, and oversized fake cobwebs with gigantic spiders clung to every available surface. In a hidden corner, a body bag lay in a pool of fake blood, creating a spine-chilling tableau. It was deeply unsettling. "Wow, they've really outdone themselves," one of my friends remarked, their voice a mix of excitement and nervousness. We approached the entrance, and it was evident that the creators had spared no expense in creating a terrifying atmosphere. Fake severed bodies were strewn about, surrounded by ominous props such as bloodied weapons, axes, enormous knives, and chainsaws, all adorned with bits of fake guts. A fog machine filled the air with a thick white mist, which clung to our costumes. Overhead, strobe lights flickered, casting eerie shadows and adding to the sense of foreboding. As we ventured deeper into the haunted house, we encountered a series of terrifying scenes. In the dining room, zombie animatronics sat at a table. Their gauntlets filled with blood and organs spread across the plates. A dismembered man animatronic sprawled across the center of the table, its expression one of sheer horror with wide, screaming eyes. Despite my best efforts to appear brave in front of my friends, I couldn't help but feel genuinely spooked by the gruesome sights. Our journey through the haunted house continued, and we soon found ourselves in a section filled with scare actors dressed as infamous serial killers. Among them was an actor dressed as Michael Myers, standing in a dark hallway, partially concealed by the wall, clutching a hyper-realistic, bloody machete. His mask was unsettlingly accurate, and his menacing presence made my heart skip a beat. I was the first to spot him and brought him to my friend's attention, resulting in playful screams and nervous laughter. "Dude, that's creepy as hell," one of my friends said, staring at the Michael Myers actor. "I can't believe how real that machete looks." "Yeah, it's like he stepped right out of the movie," another friend added, still eyeing the sinister figure. We laughed off our unease, but the actor's realistic portrayal left an indelible mark on our psyches. Hours passed as we navigated the labyrinthine haunted house, but eventually, the thrills began to wane. It was time to call it a night. We made our way back to my house to relax and wind down. Inside the cozy confines of my home, we settled into our favorite group activity, attempting to shake off the lingering unease from the haunted house. "I swear, that Michael Myers guy gave me the creeps," one of my friends confessed. "I know what you mean," I replied. They really nailed the authenticity in there. As the evening wore on, my friends decided it was time to head home. I bid them farewell, and one by one they left my house until I was alone. I retreated to my room, wanting to relax until I fell asleep. I put on some YouTube videos, the soft glow of the screen filling the room, and soon I began to nod off. But just as I was drifting into slumber, the sound of shattering glass jolted me awake. Panic and confusion washed over me as I shot up in bed. It took a moment for the reality of the situation to sink in. The shattering glass was real. I always kept a baseball bat within reach just in case. I grabbed it and, with trembling hands, began to creep out of my room, determined to investigate the noise. In the living room, I discovered a large glass window shattered, with shards of broken glass glistening like malevolent diamonds on the floor. It was a warm, breezy night, ruling out the possibility of an accidental breakage. Fear gripped me as the realization hit. Someone was in my house. I tightened my grip on the bat, my breath coming in heavy, uneven gasps. My heart raced as I heard faint but unmistakable thuds coming from my bedroom. Whoever it was, they were looking for me, and a gut feeling told me their intentions weren't benign. The heavy footsteps grew closer, and I found myself frozen in fear, unable to do anything but stand there, trembling with terror. The footsteps suddenly stopped, and the house fell into an eerie silence, broken only by the chirping of crickets outside. Then, I felt the cold, menacing touch of metal against my neck. A huge machete pressed threateningly against my throat. I could hear heavy breathing from behind, and the terror that had gripped me throughout the night reached its peak. My mind raced as the seconds felt like hours. I could feel the weight of the machete against my throat, and cold sweat began to trickle down my back. With my heart pounding in my chest, I couldn't bring myself to move or even breathe too loudly. The intruder behind me seemed to enjoy my fear, letting out a low, eerie chuckle that sent shivers down my spine. "I bet you thought you were safe," a voice thick with malice whispered in my ear. My mind scrambled for a response, for some way to escape this nightmare. "What do you want?" I stammered, my voice trembling. The machete pressed harder against my throat in response, causing me to wince. "That's not important right now. What's important is what you're going to do for me." Fear coursed through my veins, but I managed to croak, "What do you mean?" The intruder leaned in closer, their hot, rancid breath against my ear. "You're going to do exactly as I say, or things will get very messy, very fast." My heart raced even faster, and I couldn't fathom what this person had in mind. "Just tell me what you want, and maybe we can figure something out," I pleaded, desperate to avoid the impending danger. A sinister smile crossed the intruder's lips, even though I couldn't see their face. "Good. That's the spirit I was hoping for. First, I need you to lead me to something." My mind raced, trying to figure out a way to stall, to find an opening for escape, or to signal for help. "What do you need me to show you?" "Your friends," the voice hissed. "Take me to them." Panic surged through me. I couldn't lead this person to my friends. I had to protect them. "I can't do that," I said, my voice growing stronger with determination. The machete pushed harder, drawing a thin bead of blood from my neck. "You don't have a choice. Lead me to your friends, or I'll make this night unforgettable in the worst way." I couldn't bear the thought of leading the sinister intruder to my friends, and I knew I had to stall for time. Okay, just let me get dressed." The pressure on my throat eased, and I heard the intruder retreat slightly. They continued to watch me closely, and I knew I had to seize any opportunity for escape. Slowly, I reached for my phone, which was on the nightstand. As I pretended to fumble with my clothes, I discreetly sent a text to one of my friends, alerting them to the danger in my house. I had to hope they'd get the message in time. The intruder seemed to buy my act, and I could sense their impatience. "Hurry up. We don't have all night." I nodded, quickly texting another friend, then a third, doing my best to convey the urgency without raising suspicion. "I'm almost ready," I said, forcing myself to move toward the closet to grab some clothes. The voice grew more agitated. "Hurry, or I'll make your little friend suffer." I knew my time was running out, and I had to make a split. Second decision. I lunged for the baseball bat that leaned against the closet door. With all my strength, I swung it in the direction of the intruder, connecting with a solid thud. The intruder let out a guttural scream, and the machete clattered to the ground as they stumbled backward. I took my chance and bolted for the door, frantically dialing 911 as I sprinted. The operator answered, and I breathlessly explained the situation, giving them my address. I was met with reassurances and instructions to stay on the line. As I reached the front door, the intruder began to recover. I could hear their enraged screams from behind me, but I didn't dare look back. The police would be on their way, and all I had to do was stay safe until they arrived. I flung open the front door, taking refuge on the porch and watching the flashing lights of the approaching police cars. It was a long, agonizing wait, but the authorities eventually arrived and apprehended the intruder. As they were led away in handcuffs, I finally exhaled a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. The nightmare was over, thanks to quick thinking and a little help from my friends and the authorities. Halloween had taken a terrifying turn, but it was a night I would never forget, a night when fear had met its match in determination and resourcefulness.